Hi everyone, welcome back. This is the third part of the video on Module 1, Lesson 4, which is actually our first lesson in the module, but it's number 4 in our binders. Last time we left off, we had just walked through an example of how to solve a quadratic equation using the quadratic formula, and we found out that we can get these imaginary roots. Later we're going to call these complex roots, and there are 2 of them when we use our quadratic formula. So, again, here's another walkthrough example. It's all done out with simplifications to the radicals and to the fractions. So look at that if you need some clarification on how to simplify. But last time we left off, we just started on solving exercise 1. And I've done the first couple steps here. The first step was I solved my equation for 0, just like we did before. I noticed the 9 on the right side of the equal sign. I want to turn that into 0, so I subtract 9 off. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do the same to the other equal side. Simplifying, we get this equation below. I just highlighted our coefficients on each term, and that helped me get my 3 coefficients. Oh, that's a typo. B is equal to -3, just as it is above. Our 3 coefficients, and I'll highlight them. Then I left our quadratic formula blank, ready to have stuff plugged in. I'm just going to highlight where the b's go, -b plus b squared, and the a's go, and the c goes. So let's plug those in right now. X equals -3 plus or minus the square root of -3 squared minus 4 times 5 times 8 all over 2 times 5. Nice. So I just plugged in all our numbers where they belong. I'm going to take a step simplifying. A -3, that's like a -1 times 3. In other words, it's a +3 plus or minus the square root of -3 times -3 is 9, minus, I'm going to treat this as like 20 times 8. 20 times 8, it's 160. 160 all over 10. So we're almost simplified. Take one more step under the radical. X equals 3 plus or minus the square root of -151 all over 10. So this is where we get that negative underneath the radical sign. We know there's no real numbers that have negative squares, so this is where we introduce our imaginary number. And I'm actually going to write both of our solutions now separately. So x equals 3 plus or minus, this is our imaginary unit, I times the square root 151 all over 10. And then x equals 3, oops, I just went to write plus up here, plus 3 minus. I want to split them up into the 2 different solutions. Okay. So there's how we would walk through an example on this. This is one thing you'll be have to doing on your exit ticket for this lesson. So use this example, use the other 2 examples that we've done in the do now and in the walkthrough to help you prepare for that. And the next bit, we'll talk about what mathematicians know so far about the complex unit I and how we can start to show it both algebraically and geometrically.